exhibit is called Following in Their Footsteps, and it's currently being shown at the Jacob Lovell House at the Historical Society of Rockland County. The idea behind the exhibit, first of all, it was a grant that I received in 2010 from the Arts Council of Rockland, from the New York State Council of the Arts, to photograph 10 scenes in Rockland County from the same place where the photographer took the picture up to 100 years earlier. I used old photographs and mainly postcards of Rockland scenes and traced back the exact place where the photographer stood and found the right time of day, the right locations, and captured the comparisons between what things looked like 100 years ago and what they look like today. I think what's interesting about the exhibit is it gets us to think about not only what's there now, what we see today, but the way the same place looked up to 100 years earlier. And also I think it gets us to think a little bit about what it might become like in the future too. I think the change is significant in all the pictures. I think the one which is different than the rest, I think, is in Tapan, where indeed the older buildings were improved upon. Since we know Tapan has a historic district, the people who renovated the buildings renovated them and found adaptive reuses for the buildings. The subject that probably is the oldest is the one of what they call Trees and Rock in Haverstraw, which is located along the Hudson River. I suspect that photograph for that postcard was done just around the turn of the century, and the rock itself was, I'm suspecting, was carved about 100 years after Major Andre and Benedict Arnold met along the shores of the Hudson River, which was in 1780. So I'm suspecting that the rock was actually carved around 1880, and a postcard was probably made shortly after that. But we realize that we have real history in Rockland County. I think that's what's interesting, is we have things that really are about American history, whether it's Revolutionary War history or other type of history that we have. So we have real places that have real history, and what I wanted to do in the exhibit was show that history is indeed part of our life today. I didn't want to go back and do a boring comparison, like this is the way a building looked then, this is the way a building looked now. I wanted to photograph or rephotograph the scenes in the middle of an event like a parade or something that showed that indeed the historical building is a part of our history today. I think it's important to recognize the value of history and to recognize how history plays an important part in our life today. It reminds us of what was there, but also it gives us a context for where we live. So thank you very much.